My boyfriend was right about my guy best friend, and now I have no one part two. After Jake walked in on me kissing Ethan, I didn't hear from him for a week. I tried texting, calling, and even stopped by his place, but it was like I didn't exist anymore. I felt sick with guilt, not just for what I did, but because I knew in my heart he was right about Ethan all along and I refused to see it. A week later, Jake finally responded. The text was short. I left your stuff at your mom's. Take care. That was it. No explanation, no chance to fix things, just a cold, definitive end. I decided to go to my mom's house to pick up my stuff and, honestly, to vent. She's always been the person I turn to when things fall apart. She'd been a huge Jake supporter since the beginning of our relationship, and I figured she'd give me some tough love but ultimately help me figure out how to fix things. When I got to her house, I immediately noticed Jake's car in the driveway. My stomach dropped, but I told myself he was probably just dropping my stuff off in person. Maybe he wanted to talk to my mom for advice or closure. That seemed like something he'd do. I knocked on the door, but no one answered. Assuming my mom was in the backyard or busy, I let myself in. As I walked through the hallway, I heard low voices and laughter coming from the living room. I felt a little better knowing Jake was at least in a good enough mood to laugh. Maybe this meant he was open to reconciliation. But as I stepped closer to the living room, I froze. Jake was sitting on the couch and my mom was next to him, laughing softly. But it wasn't the kind of casual, friendly laughter I'd expect. It felt intimate. My heart started racing as I stood there, out of their line of sight, watching. Before I could say anything, Jake leaned over and kissed her. Not just a quick peck either. He kissed her like he used to kiss me. His hand slid around her back, down to her waist, and rested on her hip. But then it moved lower, gripping her butt like they had no idea anyone could see them. My breath caught in my throat, and I must have made a sound because they both turned to look at me. Jake's eyes widened in shock, but he didn't look guilty, just surprised that I'd walked in. My mom, on the other hand, looked horrified. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered, pulling away from him like that would make it better. I just stood there, frozen. It felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. Jake, the man I'd loved for 2 years, the one who had begged me to listen to him about Ethan, was sitting there with his hand on my mom's butt, looking at me like I was the one who needed to explain myself. Finally, I found my voice. "Are you serious right now? My mom?" Jake stood up and ran his hand through his hair. "I didn't mean for you to find out like this," he said, which only made me angrier. My mom kept trying to say something, but I held up my hand to stop her. Like and follow part 3 is up now.